Okay, hello and welcome to episode 2 of HTML and CSS course. In this episode, I'll be covering over HTML tag and then environment setup. My name is Samuel and I'll be your instructor.
My name is Ronald, and I'll be another instructor for this course.
So a little bit of introduction. We are part of the ECD Foundation, which stands for Every Child Deserves Education. And then we make high quality videos, so make sure to check them out.
First off, we'll be going over the review for the last episode. So in the last episode, we went over the basics for web development. So the three languages for web development are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is a structure for a website, and CSS is the styling, and JavaScript is a functionality. But we won't be going over JavaScript in this course.
Okay, opening tag and closing tag. HTML tag usually include both opening and then the closing tag. And actually, the P covering with two brackets is called opening tag, and then this bracket with the dash is called the closing tag. And as you can see, the space in between two tags will be the content, and P right here is called element name. So in this case, the P stands for paragraph. You can call it paragraph tag, or you can just call it P tag. It basically means the same thing. And one thing to keep in mind is that the content you put right here should be treated as paragraph because it's a paragraph tag. And if you don't put anything in between closing tag and opening tag, it can also be a placeholder. So if you want to like do something, add something after, you can just put like nothing in between closing tag and opening tag, just use it as a placeholder.
Now here are some special tags. So special tags are tags that are only opening tags and have no closing tags. So for the first one, the BR tag produces a line break, which is a line break in text. And then we have the HR tag. The HR tag stands for horizontal rule. And this tag produces a line that goes across a web page.
Attributes. So attributes are like a modifier of HTML tag that can be used to control the content's behavior. And right here, the ID is a attribute name, and there's ID is one of the most common attribute name in HTML, and we'll be covering over more attribute names as we in a future episode. And the hello right here is an attribute value, and we'll also be covering more on that in the future video. A few rules that you need to keep in mind is no space should be allowed on a bracket between bracket and then the paragraph, and no space is also allowed in the closing tag. Space should be there should be space at least one between the opening tag and then the attribute name. So you must have this space, and for the rest, in content or in between the ID and equal sign, you can add like as many space as you want. It will basically be ignored. So you can add space in between ID and equal sign, or you can add space in your attribute value. It won't make any difference.
Okay.
Oh, and also one quick note. The attribute name can also be placed in an opening tag. It can be placed in a closing tag.
Okay, yeah. Value in quotes are also called attribute values. So attribute value is after the attribute name, right? So the value in quotes are the thing in between the quotation marks. But in HTML, closing the value in quotation marks is actually not required. However, it is the best to surround the value of the attribute in either single or double quotation marks. Using single or double quotation marks doesn't matter, and they work the same way. So they are basically equal.
Okay, so the quotes. So right here, as you can see, the whole attribute name is being covered by a double quote, and we call it the author double quote. And right here, there's no like specific rule that you need to use single or double quote. There's no rule for that, so you can use either one you want, just like I mentioned in a previous slide. And one thing you need to mention is one thing you need to keep in mind is the quote must be closed in opposite order. So if you use the double quote first, it needs to be closed at the end. It needs to be closed at the end, and then if you use a single quote after the double quote, it needs to be closed before double quotes. And it doesn't matter if you start with double or single. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, now you have some basic knowledge and we can start coding. So the environment we will be using is called replit.com. And this website is a coding environment which you can code. So if you have an account, you can log in. And if you don't have an account, you can go press the button called sign up on the right top corner.
Yeah. And you can sign up using your Gmail and stuff. So yeah, choose whatever you want. And this what will it look like after you sign up? You can basically just create a HTML, a CSS file, and then you can start coding. So question, all HTML5 tags must have A, have an opening tag, B, have a closing tag, C, have at least one attribute, and D, all of the above. I'll give you guys like 5 seconds to answer it, and you can also put your answers down in the comments. So the answer will be A, have an opening tag. Hope you got the correct answer, and that's all for today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. 就这样。